This is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast, where CEOs, C-suite, and senior level executives share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders know how to share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name's Amanda. I'm an orthodontist, and I did the traditional route for about 10 years with an orthodontic office, but recently I switched over to becoming an orthodontic consultant. That means helping industry and other doctors build their practices.
That's amazing. Well, and I'm really excited to have somebody from your discipline and your industry on. I really think that thinking about leadership through different perspectives makes a big difference. And let's be honest, the doctor's office is very different than the corporate world. Would you agree?
Totally. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Question number 2 for you. What's the best thing about leading people from your perspective?
Sure. I don't even like to think of it as leading people. I just like to think about being part of the team and perhaps occasionally being inspirational. And that's what leadership's all about.
That's amazing. And again, you're the first person that has really talked about to be a great leader, you really have to ask to be a great follower. I think it's thinking about how do you become a part of the team as opposed to that one that stands out in front all the time. I think that's a big piece that is often overlooked. So thank you so much for sharing that one. I think it actually ties really, really interesting into my third question, which is I often hear from other leaders that business would be great if it weren't for that pesky people part. I'm curious, what do you think about that?
Well, I think when you hire people, you need to find people that work with your team and your personality. There's a lot of like EQ and all kinds of other, examinations that you can take out there in order to find the right piece of the puzzle that fits with the team. So I think, sometimes it's like you hire the right personality and then you can train them up instead of hiring the most experienced person.
Oh, you're speaking my language right now. I'm always of the opinion you can train skills, but you can't train personality or, core values, right? That sort of thing. And I like it again, if for the audience who's listening, pay attention how she put responsibility on the hiring person, right? The responsibility was to hire the right person and find and train them up to what you're expecting versus making that their fault or their job to figure out.
Not at all. Yeah. I mean, you can find the best employees sometimes just, at the vet or at a car dealership or anything like that, where you just find even a waiter or a waitress, a lot of times they're very young. And you give them an opportunity and usually they really appreciate it and they work so hard, to help grow your business.
Yeah. Well, and again, you're talking about that customer experience, right? And finding those people that really do that well naturally. And so you can source them from anywhere. That's beautiful. Sure. Question number 4, what other successful business leaders like yourself should be on the podcast? Who else should audience members be listening to or paying attention to out there in the community?
Oh, goodness. Most of my experience is within the dental industry, but I certainly can give you all kinds of different names of people that I would recommend, depending on what people want to learn about. But I think the cool thing about LinkedIn, I think that's how I met you, Stacey, is basically you're going to meet all kinds of people and you're going to connect with all kinds of people. And it's almost like a long-term friendship. And with that, I'd be surprised. I'm always open to having a conversation with anyone. And I think that's the personality trait that you need to have and the way you need to move forward with making connections and networking. Even if you don't think it's directly going to benefit you, just taking that 10 or 15 minutes to talk to somebody and to get to know them. Sometimes you'll find a great connection. That's how I basically hired most of my contractors and most of the employees that I work with, is just having a conversation and just seeing where it goes.
Well, I like how you're directing people back to that kind of, the white pages of today, right? Which is LinkedIn, to date myself just a little bit there with the white page reference.
Well, me too.
But again, I mean, it is important. We've got all this access right in our backyards. Let's use it, get out there. And how many of us have, hundreds, if not thousands of connections in LinkedIn that we don't even know personally. I think there's a lot of opportunity to just get to know that network, and where could you go from there if you did that?
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Question 5, what piece of advice about communication would you give to other leaders?
For sure. You need to expand your communication style, not just pick one communication channel. You need to find out, I love the idea of anyone you talk to getting feedback. How did I do today? How could I do this better? Not everyone's going to give it to you, but if you listen more than you talk and get that feedback, you're going to make yourself a way better leader.
Oh, I love that. Again, it's, you're talking again about putting the responsibility on the person who, really honestly, the leader typically makes the most money, right? So it's like they have the responsibility to truly, figure out how to make things work. And it's a big responsibility, right? With great power comes great responsibility. So I love some of your perspectives there. And I think sometimes it's hard. You really want to lean on your team and point the finger at them to get better. But as you're saying, oftentimes it's
all you. It's all you. You got to give the direction. You've got to make sure the personalities get along. And yeah, be willing to take feedback and criticism, and it'll just make you better.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to tell my son with his grades on his papers that come home from school, I'm like, honey, it's just feedback. Like, that's all it is. It's feedback, and the more feedback you get, the better, right? So again, the better you can do the next time. But that's hard. That's a hard lesson to really internalize.
Yes, agreed.
Magic question for you, Miss Amanda. Tell us about your favorite boss or teacher. Who has really influenced you?
Wow. Sure. You want me to go ahead and name them by name?
Please, yeah. Give them the shout out. Give them the scraps.
So I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. Doug Hudson. He's the original CEO of Smile Direct Club, which I know sometimes now gets kind of a bad rap in the orthodontic industry. But I started with him on the initial startup team back in 2014. And he was really the one that took me out of my office and inspired me to become a CEO, a leader, a product developer, an inventor, entrepreneur. He was willing to teach, inspire, give feedback. He was only with that team for about 2 years, so was I. But, he's quietly not getting any of the glory, I think, of the company that's now gone public. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, but he was really inspiring to me, so I just want to thank him.
What about it? What about his leadership was so inspiring?
Sure. Just like I said, he taught me how to lead, how to give feedback, how to listen, how to be humble, how to find the right team members, how to hire the right team members and train them up. Just everything that I do now, I learned from him.
Wow. And again, I always say this with this particular question is, I'm just always blown away at how heartfelt the responses are when I ask this question, because I think the individuals are often touched by these people in their lives. And I want to just encourage everybody to think about that from their own personal reflection, and to think about, people who have given to us in different ways, and to express some gratitude, even if it's just silently, or, to reach out to them and say so, or to give a shout out on a podcast sort of idea. But I think we all feel better when we know that we've got these people in our lives that have been there for us in this way. Just something wonderful about it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Amanda. I really appreciate it. How can people find you?
Great. Yeah. And I'm happy to talk to anyone, even if you're not in the dental industry, if you'd like to learn more about the dental industry. I have a website. It's straightsmilesolutions.com. That's all one word, Straight Smile Solutions. You can go there. We've got a lot of free resources if you just want to learn. There's blogs. Goodness, we have literally thousands of YouTube videos, and we're willing to create any type of content. If anyone wants to learn about something, just let us know what you want to learn.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And this is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast. For more insights and ideas, please go to www.concilioteam.com. We look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.